Yes, sir. So yesterday's class, discussed about all these basics. Here just basics completed. Yes, today topic is about interpreter and compiler. Difference between interpreter and compiler. So what is interpreter? What is compiler? Yes, let us see. See, interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Both are easy to interpreter and compiler. Both are used to convert from high level. Yes, interpreter and compiler. Yes, interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler both are used to convert from high level language to binary codes. Binary codes. See, interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Yes, interpreter and compiler both are used to convert. Interpreter and compiler both are used to convert from high level language to binary codes. Right? Then what's the difference between these two? Interpreter and compiler. Yes, both are to convert from high level language to binary code only. Both are to convert from high level language to binary codes. Okay. Then what's the difference between these two? Interpreter versus compiler. Let's see. Yes, interpreter versus compiler. What's the difference here? Let us compare this interpreter and compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. That comparison. Yes. First, let us start with interpreter. Yes, interpreter. Yes, for interpreter based language Python. Python is the best example for interpreter based language. Python is the best example for interpreter based language. Yes, let us take some example Python. Yes, Python scripting development in real time using PyCharm. Yes, we are using PyCharm for the Python script development. For better understanding, just let us use Notepad. Notepad for better understanding. Just I'm using a Notepad. Okay. Yes, 1 second. D drive. Suppose sample folder. Sample folder. Yes, here let us develop on Python script here. Yes, in sample folder, let us develop on Python script. Yes, CMD command prompt. First, go to command prompt. Yes, D drive. Go to D drive. From D drive, next sample folder. D drive C. Here this is sample folder. CD sample. Here sample folder, nothing empty. Sample folder contains nothing empty here. Don't have any files in sample folder. Don't have any files. Nothing empty. 0 files. Nothing empty. Yes, Notepad. Suppose some Python script. S.py. So yes. Yes, A is equal to 10. Yes, B is equal to 20. Okay. C is equal to A plus B. Yes, A is equal to 10. B is equal to 20. C equal to A plus B. Next, yes, print. Yes, addition. That addition is equal to displaying C value. Okay. Yes, in Python scripting, semicolon is optional, is not necessary. Semicolon is not necessary, optional. Yes, next C equal to A plus B, addition displaying here. Next subtraction, next multiplication. C equal to A minus B. A minus B, subtraction. Subtraction. C equal to A into B. Yes, next multiplication. Multiplication. C A equal 10, B equal 20, C equal to A plus B. Addition equal displaying C well, C equal to A minus B, subtraction, C equal to A and B, multiplication. Okay, see how it's working. Let us see. Yes, it's a interpreter based. Python is interpreter. One second. Yes. A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B. So additional value. Next subtraction. Next multiplication. Save. Now here CLS here s.py. Okay, Python script. How to run the script here? Python yes s.py. H yes direct execute. Direct executed here. Yes, that Python script executed directly. Suppose if it is C program, what happens? C program first the compilation, checking for all the errors. Yes, if it is C program, checking for all the errors. If no errors, execution right. But Python scripting, no errors, checking direct execution because it's interpreter based. Yes, interpreter based program executes directly. It won't check for errors. Direct executing here, direct executing. See how it's working. Let us see how the script is working. Let us see. Yes, interpreter. For this Python example, Python, yes, s.py file. Okay, Python script file. See, Python script. Python script. Yes. See, first 10, yes, A equal 10, B equal 20, yes, C equal to A plus B, yes, print is C, next C equal to A minus B, next print is C, so next, yes, C equal to A into B, next print is C, right? So they are the Python scripting statements, all the scripting statements. Okay, all these Python scripting statements, top to bottom. Yes, how interpreter working? Let us see how interpreter is working. How Python interpreter is working. See here interpreter. So first of all, checking first statements. Interpreter checks the first statements. Interpreter checking first statements. Suppose this first statement is correct. First statement is correct. Yes, that converts into binary code immediately. Yes, that converts into binary code immediately. Yes, first statement is correct. If first statement is correct, okay, simply converts into binary code. Yes, binary with zeros ones format. Yes, given to processor. Given to processor. Yes, it generates output. Okay, see here. Checking for the first statement. The interpreter checks the first statement. If first statement is correct, converts into binary code. Then binary code given to processor, generating outputs. Yes, after checking for next statement. Yes, next statement also correct. Next statement also correct. Then converts. See what happens here. Interpreter checking for the first statement. If first statement is correct, immediately converts to binary code and generating output. See, next coming statement may be right or wrong. See, interpreter never think about next coming statements. Yes, if the statement is correct, simply converts to binary code, generating output. If statement is correct, simply converts to binary code, generating outputs. Okay, it won't look for next coming state. Next coming statement may be right or wrong. Okay. Yes, if statement is correct, immediately converts to binary code, generating outputs. Next coming statement may be right or wrong. Never think about next coming statements. So first statement checking, then execution. Next statement checking. Suppose next statement also correct. Next statement also correct. Next statement also correct. Same. Immediately converts into binary code and given to processor. Given to processor. Generating outputs. Generating outputs. Checking for next statement. Checking for next statement. Next statement. Next statement something wrong. Next statement something wrong. Simply stops. That's it. Yes, any error comes, interpreter stops. This is the working of interpreter. Interpreter checking first statement. If first statement is correct, simply converts into binary code, generating output. Next statement correct, simply converts into binary code, generating output. Yes, next statement something wrong, simply stops. That's it. Yes, it won't check for next coming statements. Yes, if anything wrong, simply stopping there only. If anything wrong, stopping there. It won't go for next statements. Any error comes, interpreter stops. Okay. So any error comes, interpreter stops. So interpreter checking first line, then execution. Checking second line, then execution. Any error comes, simply stops. This is working of interpreter. Yes, let me show practically. Yes, see here. Let us see practically. Yes, notepad. Test.py. Yes, A equal to 10, B equal to C equal to A plus B, C equal to A plus B. Okay. See, addition equal to, suppose something wrong here, comma, missing. Okay, something wrong. Okay, suppose here bracket missing. Suppose this bracket missing. Something wrong. What happens here? Here there are three errors in this. Here mistake, here mistake, here mistake. Now what happens? What happens here? Now let us try this one. Yes, Python. Run it. Yes, see this. First, this one. Seventh line error. Stop. Actually, there are three errors. Actually, three errors are but showing only one error, right? Yes, interpreter shows only one error. Any error comes, interpreter stops. Interpreter shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. Yes, any error comes, it stops. That's it here. Now let us correct this error. Yes, correction of this mistake here. Suppose save. Okay, CLS. Yes, run it. Now 11th line mistake. 11th line mistake. So 11th one mistake. Okay, 11th one mistake, right? Yes, again stop it here. Yes, it's showing only one error. Okay, yes, now 11th one. Yes, correction of this mistake. Okay, next. See, yes, again next error. Next error. So it's showing only one error at a time. Only one error. So next error. Next error. Okay. Next. Yes, next error. Now let us run it. Yes, done. So got it output, right? Yes, any error comes, interpreter stops. See here, interpreter how it's working here, how it's working. Checking first statement, if correct, converts into binary code, then execution. Next statement correct, then execution. Anything wrong, simply stops. This is working of interpreter. Yes, interpreter shows only one error. Suppose compiler. How compile is working? Let us say about compiler. How compile is working? Let us say about compiler. Yes, how compile is working? Yes, about compiler. Yes, about compiler. Yes, about compiler. Suppose C program. For compiler, it's a C program. Support test.c. Let us take C program. Yes, how compile is working here? Compiler. Yes, checking first statement. Suppose first statement is correct. Compiler checking first statement. Suppose first statement is correct. First statement is correct. Yes, even correct, it won't convert into binary code immediately. No, it won't convert into binary code immediately. Okay, checking for next statements. Yes, next statements. Even next statement correct, it won't convert into binary code. What happens here? So compiler first of all checking from top to bottom. Compiler checks all the errors from top to bottom, checking first line. If it is correct, then go to next line. Next line correct. Next go to next line. Suppose next line something wrong. It shows that error at some line. Error at some line. Yes, after that, checking for next statement. Suppose next statement is correct. Okay. We are checking for next statement. Suppose next statement is correct. Checking for next statement. Suppose something wrong. Yes, it shows that error at some line here. Some line. Next, after checking for next statement. Okay. Checking for next statement. Suppose something wrong here. Error at some line. So compiler shows all the errors in the program. Compiler checking first statement, next statement, next statement, next statement, top to bottom. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. Yes, compiler, it checks all the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom and shows all the errors. See, interpreter, any error comes, simply stops. It shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. But compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. All the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors. Let me show some example. Compiler C program. Let us take C program. C program. Yes, C program. Yes, same C program. Program to add. C program to add. Program to add, comma, subtract and multiply two numbers. Program to add, comma, subtract and multiply two numbers. Addition, subtraction, and multiplication of two numbers. Okay. Yes, A, B, C, three variables. So first enter first number, second number. Yes, C equal to A plus B, C equal to A minus B, C equal to A to B. Yes. Now compile. Yes, success. No errors. Run it. Yes, first number 10, second number 20. Yes. Addition 30, subtraction minus 10, multiplication 200. That's it. Okay, run it. Yes, 10, 20. Yes, addition, subtraction, multiplication. That's it. Suppose let us see errors. Program with errors, what happens here? Suppose here, yes, semicolon missing. Okay, suppose here some bracket missing. Suppose some comma missing. Suppose here semicolon missing. Suppose here some comma missing. There are some missing statements. Okay. Yes. Suppose here bracket missing. There are some missing statements. What happens here? Yes. Let me save it. Saved. Now let us compile. Just only compilation or compilation. Yes. Errors. See all the errors from top to 6 errors. Totally 6 errors. 6 errors. Press any key. Press any key, right? 6 errors. See this at the bottom. 16th line error. Next 18th line. 22nd line. 27th line. Yes, next 29th line. 40th line. Yes, all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Interpreter is only one error, but compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay. Yes, now here. See, semicolon. Yes, let us correct mistakes here. Brackets. Okay. Yes, next here, comma missing. Okay. Next here, semicolon missing. Semicolon missing. Yes, comma missing. There are some missing statements. Let us compile again here. Yes, again errors. That one error, right? Again, still one more error. See this one error. Yes, now save it. Save it. Yes, compile. Yes, success. No errors. Yes, if no errors, what is next step? What happens here? Next step. Let us see. What is next step? If no errors, what is next step? One second. Let me have some water. Just a minute. Yes, just a minute. See here, compile, success, no errors. If no errors, what happens here? Suppose no errors. Yes, after comparing no errors, everything is fine. 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 If no errors, what happens here? Then compile opens another file. Compile opens another file. Yes, if no errors, compile opens another file. After opening another file, it converts this whole code into binary format. Yes, it converts this whole code into binary format. Yes, zeros and ones format. Next, zeros ones format. Zeros ones format. Zeros ones format like this. Zeros ones format. All this code converts into binary format. All this code converts into binary format. Okay, so compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. Yes, if no errors, it converts whole code into binary format. Compiler checks all the lines from top to bottom. Yes, if no errors, this complete code converts into binary format, write to another file. This complete code converts into binary format, write to another file. Yeah, this file called as exe file. Exe file. So this one creates one test.exe file. Yes, it creates one test.exe file. Test.c converts exe file. Let me show that exe file. See here. Yes, behind of this program. See, this is math.cpp. CPP, C language, both are same. Both are compiler only. Both are compiler based. Let us see. Yes, backend. Yes, turbo C. C drive. TC. Bin folder. Yes, in bin folder. See math.cpp. Math.cpp. This is 1 second. Some old files deleted. See math.cpp. See backend. See, this is math.cpp. Okay. Yes, now let us compile. Now I'm running. Yes, before going to run it, first of all, it creates one exe file. See that? I can see that exe file created. Application image is exe file. So right click, properties, .exe. .exe file created. .exe created. Okay. After that, now exe file executing. See, enter first number 10, second number 20. Result is addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Addition, subtraction, multiplication. Right? Okay. Yes. So here compiler working is like this. Compiler checks all the statements from top to bottom. If no errors, generating exe file. Get that exe file given to processor. Right? Processor taking exe file, generating output. Okay. Right. So this is working of compiler. Now tell me guys, what's the difference you observed? Compiler, interpreter. See this interpreter. See, as per this explanation, what you observed? What's the difference you observed here? Interpreter and compiler. What's the difference you observed? Tell me guys. What's the difference you observed? Yes, no difference observed. Yes, what's the difference you observed between these two? No one? Yes, you can share in chat box. Here chat box messages are there. You can share in chat box. Hello, can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me my voice? Yes. Okay, fine. Yes, tell me the difference. What is you observed? What is difference you observed? See, as per this explanation, interpreter explains and compelled explained. Now, what's the difference you observed here? What's the difference you observed?
We can see only one error in interpreter.
Yes, interpreter shows only one error, compile shows all the error. Fine. That's okay, fine. Next, any other difference? Any other difference observed? See this. See, yes, this explains itself difference showing, some difference showing. What is the difference showing here? See this space, and in this space, some difference you able to see that, right? What's the difference you can see now?
Binary code.
Yeah, this also here also binary code is there. Here also binary code is there. But this binary code some difference is there. What is that? Yes, exe file, right?
In compiler, binary code is created after the total
Yes,
errors.
exe file. Here this exe file. Yes, another file exe file generated. See this, that exe file generated. See, in case of interpreter, no exe file. Direct executing. Yes, that program executing directly. See notepad file. See dir test.py. Okay. Get that script executing directly here. No exe file. No exe file. These are main difference. Interpreter compiler main difference. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Interpreter won't generate exe file. Okay, interpreter does not generate exe file. That is the main difference. Let us see all the differences. What's the difference between interpreter and compiler? Yes, interpreter versus compiler. Let us see one by one, points wise. Let me explain points wise the differences. Yes, interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. Interpreter and compiler. So what's the difference between these? Let us see. Yes, 1 second. Let us see the differences here. See interpreter. First one. Yes. Okay. It checks line by line. Compiler, whole program from top to bottom. Okay. See interpreter, it checks line by line. Interpreter checks the program line by line. Compiler, yes, whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checks. Yes, it checks whole program. It checks whole program from top to bottom. Yes, interpreter checks line by line. Yes, interpreter is line by line only, but compile is whole program from top to bottom. Next, when come to output generation, line by line output. Interpreter, yes, line by line output generating. Okay, yes, compiler at a time output. Because here that exe file executing, right? Exe file executing at a time giving outputs. At a time giving outputs. So interpreter is line by line output here, compile is at a time outputs. Okay, right? Next interpreter, it shows only one error. It shows only one error. Compiler, yes, it shows all the errors from yes, top to bottom, from top to bottom, from top to bottom. Yes, interpreter, it shows only one error. Interpreter, it shows only one error. Compiler, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. Interpreter is only one error. Yes, compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Yes, next difference. Main difference exe file. Exe file. Interpreter, yes, it does not. It does not create exe file. Yes, interpreter, it does not create exe file. Interpreter, it does not create exe file. Compiler, yes, it creates exe file. Okay, see, interpreter, it does not create exe file. Interpreter does not create exe file. Yes, compiler, it creates exe file. Yeah, this is main difference. Yes, main difference between interpreter compiler is exe file. Exe file is a difference. See, interpreter, it does not create exe file. Compiler, it creates exe file. Exe is the main difference. Exe is the main difference. Okay, yes. See here, interpreter, yes, it executes source code directly. It executes source code directly. Right? What is compiler? It executes exe file. Yes, it executes exe file. Okay, see, interpreter. Yes, Python, interpreter based language. See here, test.py, that Python script, test.py, the script executes directly. No exe file, directly source code executes directly here. Okay, it executes source code directly. This is called a source code. See what are the program we are writing here. Our program code is a source code. See, this is called a source code. This is source code. Yeah, this is called a source code. Yeah, this is called a source code. So this is called a source code. Okay, right? That source code executed directly. Source code executed directly. But in case of C programming, what is happening here? It will create one exe file. See here, 1 second. I'm deleting that exe file backend. Yes, exe file deleted. Now let us run again here. Yes, run it. Yes, again that exe file created. See this. Again exe created and executed. Again exe created, executed. So exe file creates execute. So it executes exe file. Okay, right? Yes, it executes exe file. See, interpreter, it executes source code only. Yes, it executes source code directly. It executes source code directly. Yes, compiler, it executes exe file. It executes exe file. Okay, right? Yes, next. Yes, interpreter. Yeah, these are yes scripting language. These are scripting language. These are scripting language. Interpreter based languages are called as scripting languages. Interpreter based languages are called scripting languages. Compiler based language called as programming language. Programming language. Programming language. See, interpreter based language called as scripting languages. Interpreter based called as scripting language. Compiler based called as programming language. See, interpreter based language called as scripting language here. Compiler based language are called as programming language. Yes, interpreter based language examples. Python is the best example. Python. Yes, next HTML, Python, HTML, JavaScript. See, JavaScript is not a Java. Java is different. JavaScript is different here. JavaScript is different. Java is different. Okay, so Python, HTML. Yes, next JavaScript. JavaScript is not a Java. That is different. Is different. So next, yes, Linux shell scripting. It's interpreter based language. Next, PHP. Yes, interpreter based language. Perl scripting. These all are interpreter based language. Compiler based examples. C language. C is a compiler based. C++ is a compiler based. Okay, right? Next, .NET is a compiler. .NET, C#. Yeah, these are compiler based languages. They are interpreter based languages. So these are interpreter based language. These are compiler based language. So these are interpreter and compiler based examples. Okay. So here interpreter based language don't have exe file. Simply conclusion here. Yes, see interpreter. Yes, interpreter. Yes, interpreter based language. Yes, don't have exe file. Yes, interpreter based language. The interpreter-based language don't have exe file. Yes, compile based here everything is exe file. Finally getting exe file. Yes, always, yes, always is exe file. Always, yes, executing exe file. Always, yes, it's exe file generates. Always is exe file. Okay, so everything is exe file here. So here compile based. Yes, always exe file. Always exe file executes. But interpreter based language don't have exe file. So simply conclusion. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. Okay, compile based language exe. So these are main difference. See this. These 2 points are main differences here. Yes, interpreter, it does not create exe file. Compile it creates exe file. Yes, interpret it executes source code only. It executes source code directly. Yes, compile it executes exe. So this is the main difference between this. Exe file is a main difference. So interpreter based language don't have exe file. That's it here. Compiler based always exe file. Okay, fine. Yes, now here's some doubt here. You guys, yes, yeah, this trainer, Mr. Nageswar Rao. Yes, speaking about all this, where is Java? He's not talking about Java. Maybe some doubts. Java, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Yes, we discussed many things, but about Java not discussed. So what is Java? Is it interpreter based or compiler based? Yes, let us say about Java. Yes, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Yes, anyone? Anyone idea? Of course, I'll explain.
Compiler based.
Compiler based. Next, others.
Interpreter based.
Interpreter based. Next. Yes, these
Compiler
guys.
based.
Yes,
Compiler
right.
based.
Yes, someone saying that compiler based, someone saying that interpreter based, someone saying that both. Yes, okay, let us see. Yeah, let me explain. Then finally you decide it. I'll explain, you decide it. I'll explain, you decide. Okay, yes. It's about Java. Let me explain about Java. See, except Java in other languages, except Java in other languages, first of all, source code converts into binary codes. Source code converts into binary code. Except Java in other languages, source code converts into binary codes. That binary code given to processor finally generating outputs. Right? That's the case of except Java. Except Java in other languages, source code converts into binary code. That binary code given to processor generating outputs. Yes, now that is in Java. Java, what happens? Here? Java. So first of all, source code, Java source codes. Source code converts into bytecode. That bytecode converts into binary codes. That binary code given to processor finally generating outputs. That's it here. See here, in extra bytecode was introduced. Some intermediate code. Source code converting into bytecode to binary codes. That binary code given to processor generating output here. Yes, right? Yes, here bytecode was introduced. In Java, bytecode introduced. Why is bytecode introduced here? To make the Java as independent platform. Bytecode was introduced here. To make the Java as independent platform, that bytecode was introduced. Yes, what is bytecode? We'll discuss. Wait. Okay. Now source code to bytecode to binary codes. So you get some intermediate code was introduced. That means 2 steps. Now source code to bytecode. Who will convert from source code to bytecode? Yes, this is by the Java compiler. Yes, let me show practically. Source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Yes, let us see Java program. Let us see Java example also. So what D drive? Yes, let us take some mn folder. Yes, D drive, mn folder. D drive. 1 second. Yes, command prompt. D drive. Yes, cd mn folder. D drive. D here this is mn directory. Here this is mn directory. mn directory. cd mn changed. Okay, dr. Okay. Yes, now notepad test.java. Notepad test.java. Yes. Yes. Now let us write a program, sample program. Yes, public class test starting ending. Yes, in this, yes, public static void main method string square bracket hogs. Okay, yes, in this system dot yes out dot println levels. It's save. Yes, simple Java program. Public class test. Yes, public static void means string square bracket args. Hello world. Okay, save and exit. Save and exit. CLS clear screen. Here. See here this is test.java program. Here this is source code. See notepad test.java. Yes, this is source Java source code. Source code Java source code. Java source code. Java source code. Okay. Yes. This is source code. Source code. Yes, it's a test.java program. Test.java. Right. Yes, now the source code. Yes, let us compile it. Java C is a Java compiler. Java C is a Java compiler. Test.java. Compiling. Java C means Java compiler. Yes, it's compiling now. It's compiling. Java C compiled. Dr. This Dr. See, just a dot class file generated, right? Compiled. Generated dot class file. Dot class file generated. So test.java. Yes, given to Java C compiler. Yes, after compilation, result is bytecode. Dot class file contains bytecode. Bytecode file. Tested dot class file generated. Test dot class file generated. Okay. So test.java source code compiles and result bytecode. Tested dot class file got it. Tested dot class file, right? Tested dot class file. Now tested dot class file. Okay. See here. So tested dot class, right? Now run it. Run this dot class file. Yes. Hello world outputs. Now Java test means here see Java interpreter. Now Java interpreter taken tested dot class file then executed. Okay, dot class file taken with Java. This is Java interpreter. Java interpreter taken tested dot class file then executed here. So this is tested dot class file is given to Java interpreter. Java interpreter, right? Yes, given to interpreter here. Okay, now here source code to bytecode. See, source code is given to Java C Java compiler. Generate dot class file bytecode file here. Bytecode. That bytecode is given to Java interpreter. Now Java interpreter taking bytecode and converting into binary codes. Byte converts into binary codes. Okay, and given to processor generating output finally. Right. So what's happening here? Source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. This is first step. Second step, bytecode to binary codes. Next, bytecode to binary codes. Bytecode to binary codes. Yes, this was the Java interpreter. Right? Java interpreter. Yes, source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Bytecode to binary code by the Java interpreter. Correct. So two steps. First step is source code to bytecode by the compiler. Yes, bytecode to binary code by the interpreter. After converting to binary code, yes, giving you processor then executing, right? So what is happening here? What is happening in Java here? Yes, Java errors checking, errors checking by the errors checking by the Java compiler. Errors checking by the Java compiler. Errors. Here all the errors, program errors checking by Java compiler. Errors checking by the Java compiler. Okay. Next, program execution. Program execution by the interpreter. By the interpreter. That's it. So here errors, all the errors checking by the Java compiler. If no errors, generating dot class file. That dot class file is executing by the interpreter. See here. I'm repeating topic once again. See first step. What is first step? Notepad test.java. Notepad test.java. Yes, notepad. Yes, writing your Java code. After writing Java code here, no comparison. So next step is comparison. Java C. Compiler checking for all the errors. If no errors, generating dot class file. The dot class file executing by the interpreter. So first compiler involving for errors checking. If no errors, execution by the interpreter. That means compiler here involving here, interpreter involving. Now Java depends on what? Is it compiler based or interpreter based? Tell me guys. Yes, now Java depends on what? Yes, Java. Yes, Java depends on what? Compiler, interpreter, or both? Yes, first option compiler, only compiler. Only compiler. Second option only interpreter. Only interpreter. Third option both. Tell me guys, as per this discussion, Java depends on what? Compiler or interpreter or both, depends on what? Yes. What's happening guys? See errors checking by the compiler, program execution by the interpreter. There are two things involving. That means depends on what? Both. Java depends on both. See Java. Yes, Java depends on both. Depends on both. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Compiler as well interpreter. Compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Compiler as well interpreter here. So error checking by the compiler, program execution by the interpreter. That's it here. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. I think it's clear, right? So Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Right? Yes. Now some question for you guys. Some question as per this. What you understand based on your understanding today topic. Based on today topic, some question for you guys. Some question for you guys. Yes, can we create exe file in Java? Question. Or is there any exe file concept in Java? See, here this is a process, right? First notepad test.java, compile, getting dot class file, then execute, right? Have you seen any exe file here in this total process? Notepad test.java, Java C test.java, Java test. Yes, have you observed any .exe file here? Any exe file observed here? Have you observed any exe file? Yes, come on guys. Yes, I'm expecting answer from everyone. Yes, have you observed any exe file? Test.java is there, test.class, test.java is there, dot class file is there, but no exe file. No exe file means yes, in Java we can't create exe file. See, Java runtime is in. Yes, next one more point here. See, one more point. Any program execution, any program execution execution by the interpreter. Any program execution by the interpreter. Yes, don't have exe file. Don't have exe file. Any program execution by the interpreter. See, any program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, since Java program execution since Java program execution by the interpreter. Yes, interpreter. Yes, don't have exe file. Don't have exe file. See any program execution by the interpreter. See any program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, any program execution by the interpreter. Yes, comparison okay fine, but execution runtime execution. Any program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, since Java program execution by the interpreter. Since Java program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file concept. Okay, since Java program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Okay, yes, can we create exe file in Java? No, we can't create. Answer is no. Is there any exe file concept in Java? No. Answer is no. Answer is no. No. Yes, there is no exe file concept in Java. No exe file concept in Java. So can we create exe file in Java? No. Is there any exe file concept in Java? No. Yes, there is no exe file concept in Java. Okay. Yes, no exe file concept in Java. Okay. Yes, in Java everything is dot class file. Java, yes, everything. In Java everything. Yes, everything is a dot class file. Yes, what is dot class file exactly we'll discuss. Dot class file tomorrow topic. Dot class file exe file difference in tomorrow class we'll discuss. Tomorrow class I'll explain about dot class and dot exe file. Okay. Yes, in Java everything is a dot class file. In Java everything is a dot class file. In Java everything is dot class file. Okay, see dot class file is not an exe file. Dot class is not an exe file. Dot class file is not an exe file. Exe file is different. Dot class is different here. See exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Yes, it is a system understandable. It's a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language. See exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. It's a system is computer processor understandable language. It's a processor understandable language. Exe file is a binary code file. Yes, it's a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language here. Yes, next what is dot class file? See dot class file is a bytecode file. Bytecode is different, binary code is different. Yes, bytecode, binary code differences we'll discuss next coming topic. Dot class file is a dot class file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class file. See, dot class file is a bytecode file. Yes, it's a JVM understandable language. It's a JVM understandable JVM understandable language. It's a JVM understandable language. So dot class file is a bytecode file. Dot class file is a bytecode file. Yes, it's a JVM understandable language. So exe file is different. Dot class file is different here. So exe file is a binary code file, is system understandable language. Dot class file is a bytecode file. It's a JVM understandable language. That's it here. Next, one more thing. Yes, exe file yes is a OS dependent. Yes, that is tomorrow topic. Yes, exe file is OS dependent. Whereas dot class file yes is an independent platform. Yes, is an independent of OS. Yes, the topic tomorrow we'll discuss. Yes, how Java made us independent platform. That is tomorrow topic. 1 second. So till now, whatever discussed here, it's there in document here. Today topic, difference between interpreter and compiler. See, interpreter, compiler, the differences, what are we discussed? All the differences explained here. Yes, in documents, very clearly prepared. Well prepared documents, very clearly prepared. Interpreter, compiler, very clearly prepared. That all the differences. Main difference, fourth and fifth points. Yes, it will not generate exe file. Yes, it executes only source codes. Yes, here this one generates exe file, it executes exe file. This is the main difference. Now Java, see this, come to Java. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Yes, in Java, errors checking with the compiler. Yes, if no errors, then Java compiler generates dot class file. See, dot class file is a bytecode file. Correct? Yes, Java runtime by the interpreter. Runtime is program execution by the interpreter. See this steps. Source code dot Java given to compiler generates bytecode file dot class file that is given to interpreter. Okay. Yes, generating output finally. See this. Source code to bytecode to binary code, processor then output like that. Steps here. Source to bytecode to binary code to process then output like this. Right? Okay. Source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Bytecode to binary code by the Java interpreter. See, first step, source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Second step, bytecode to binary code by the Java interpreter. See, Java depends on both the compiler as well as interpreter, both here. Both. Yes, Java runtime is interpreter based. Java runtime is interpreter based. Yes, see, any language runtime is interpreter based, no exe file. Any language runtime is an interpreter based, no exe file. Runtime is program execution. Runtime is program execution. Interpreter based. Yes, since Java runtime is interpreter based, no exe file concept in Java. No exe file concept in Java. No exe file. Okay, because Java is independent of platform. Suppose exe file concept is that is OS dependent. If any exe file concept is that is OS dependent, but Java is a independent of OS. Java is independent of platform. Okay, no exe file concept in Java. Suppose if exe concept is there, definitely it's a OS dependent. Okay, yes. See, can we create exe file in Java? No. Answer is no here. Yes, there is no concept of exe files in Java. Yeah, there is no concept of exe files in Java. Yes, in Java, everything is a dot class file. Okay, dot class file is not an exe file. Dot class is not an exe file. Dot class is different. Exe file is different. See this. Exe file is a binary code file. See that binary code with zeros ones format. Okay. Yes, it's a processor understandable language. Yes, dot class file is a bytecode file. So exe file is binary code file. Dot class is bytecode file. See that exe binary code. See this like this. Exe file. Binary code like this. This exe file. Bytecode is different. What is bytecode in Java programming? I'll explain. What is bytecode in Java programming? We'll discuss. Okay, fine. Yes. Dot class file is a bytecode file, JV understandable language. Next, exe file is an OS dependent. Okay, dot class file is independent of platform. Independent of platform or OS. Yes. Next, Java features. Yes. To understand Java features, all the prerequisites completed. Today topic. Yesterday's one, today's topic is a prerequisite to understand Java. So before going to Java, all the basics were completed. Okay, these are all the basics. They are the basics. Okay. Once these basics are cleared, once all these basics are cleared, okay, easy to understand Java. Yes, now you can understand Java very clearly. See, most of the trainers directly they will start Java, but that is not my way. First explaining basics. There is dependency. Directly explaining Java may not be understanding here. For that reason, all the prerequisites explained here. Okay. So next about independent platform and portable these features. Yes, now you can understand very clearly. Yes, tomorrow topic is very interesting. Independent platform and portability. This topic tomorrow very interesting here. See 1 second. A tomorrow topic, that kind of explanation The topic you can't see anywhere. See, any website in the world, Java websites, no websites will give that much of information about independent platform for even no trainer will explain. See, 1 second. You guys may be joining into my batch or not, that is secondary. But don't miss tomorrow class. Okay, you guys may be joining or may not be joining, that is secondary. Secondary. So I request everyone to attend tomorrow class. Tomorrow class. Okay, very interesting tomorrow class. And most important also, don't miss tomorrow class. Okay, yes, after finishing tomorrow class, we can take the decision. No problem, no issue. Yes, any doubts, guys? Still now any doubts? Yes, all basics completed here. Yes, already Java introduced today. Java introduced today. Okay, tomorrow we'll be discussing about Java features. Yes, any doubts? Still any doubts? Yes, still any doubts? Any doubts from today's class? Yes, see, yes, till yesterday's class, daily documents shared in the group and videos recording also shared in the WhatsApp group. Yes, everything sharing in the group. Okay. Yes, today after this class, I'll give the drive access. Okay, today at 8 o'clock, I'll give the drive access. Okay, today you can get the drive access. Okay, I'll give the drive access today. Okay, yes. So today's class you can get from the drive. Yes, of course, today's class also I'll share in the WhatsApp. Today's class topic also I'll share in the WhatsApp. Yes, apart from drive also you can. Okay. What is the process for after payment? Yes, once you paid fees here, that receipt shared to online team. That receipt shared to online team. Yes, or in a group, WhatsApp group actually, Mr. Rajendra, or in a group. Yes, if not in the group, yes, share about it. Yes, if you are not in the group, in group every information is going on. I'm giving every information. Yeah, this is my WhatsApp number. Okay, take this number 8179189123. This is my WhatsApp. Take this number and share your details. Yes, your name. Yes, your name. Next WhatsApp course you are attending here. WhatsApp course you are attending. Next WhatsApp time you are attending here. Yes, next. Yes, course name, course time. Next Gmail ID required here. Gmail. So these are required. Name, course time, and Gmail. Share the details and add to group here. See every information sharing the group here. Yes, about payment details. See about daily class link. Of course, till Saturday same link. No change in the link here. Till Saturday same link. Okay. Any other information, doubts? Yes, doubts. I'm responding in the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group created, in that group I'm responding. Okay. Yes. Take this. Still anyone is there? Yes. Share the details. I will add the group. Yeah. Still any doubts? Yes, if no doubts, let us wind up session for today. Yeah, this is your WhatsApp number. Yes, this is my WhatsApp number. Share to these details that I will add it. Yeah, so that's all for today. So thank you guys. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.